Hi, everyone. This is Sarah Mingus. I am a 2019 Pitch KC Best Poet nominee. I've also worked with Lady Gaga's Born This Way Foundation as an expert panelist on mental health awareness. I'm the author of Naked Toes, which is a full collection of poetry exploring themes of love, loss, being bold, being a goddess, heartbreak, and rising above, and being who you were meant to be. I also own two coaching businesses: Playful Awareness, which is parent coaching for parents with kids with ADHD. And we also do co parenting. And then Wonder Woman Rising, where I help teen girls and women let go of shame and self loathing and embrace their inner goddess, their inner Wonder Woman. We will also work with men and help them embrace their inner Superman if they wish. We typically get calls from women, but I've recently discovered that there's almost as many men as women checking out our page on Facebook. So I wanted to give a shout out to all the men in the room as well. Rhonda asked if I would do a short video for the Kansas Authors Club, and I was delighted to do so. It's taken me a minute as I have struggled a bit with some physical challenges of mine as I've been quarantining and I've been a little bit sick. It's not COVID-19, so no worries. I'm feeling much better. So I did want to talk a little bit about surviving the quarantine. Part of surviving is allowing yourself to feel all those feels, even the feels that don't feel very good. Meaning, I want you to scream, to cry, to punch your pillow, whatever it is that you need to do to get all of those icky, awful emotions out. Sometimes it might also just be writing and writing about it, but really getting all of that out and not letting it consume you all day long, every day, for days on end. So, my first tip would be schedule a time for venting. Schedule a time to be anxious. So from 2 to 4 on a Monday afternoon is your time to vent. It's your only time to be anxious. So get it all out during that time. And then put it on a shelf until the next day. So what it does is it allows you to get that stuff out, but it helps to prevent you from having that interfere or explode into all other times and avenues of your daily life all day long. Too many times we ruminate and think things over and over and over again. And so it's a way to just put that on the shelf. So that would be my first tip. The second tip is, I know this is really hard. I've hit that radical acceptance part. If I had spoken with you last week, I might have felt differently. But it's really about accepting the current situation. And the reality is, it hurts and it doesn't feel good. And there are things that we miss, and it's okay to miss them, but also accept that right now the reality is we can't change the fact that there's a quarantine. There's nothing that we can do to change that right now. But we can change our thoughts and our feelings about that. So we can problem solve and say, hey, if I'm focusing on the things I don't have, what if I focus on the things I do have? Or what if I reached out to those people that I know care about me and I picked up the phone and called them and didn't just text or email or send a Facebook message? That's really crucial. Most of us who are social beings who like to be out and about, it's really hard to not physically be talking to people and socializing and giving people hugs. But when you hear another voice on the other end, there's a connection to that in a way that you just can't get from a text or a Facebook message or an email. So it's really important that you're picking up that phone to give people a call. Now, if you're not a phone person, that's okay. Think about how are some ways that you can really connect with other people. Sending cards is a really great way too. Everyone loves to get something in the mail, especially when it's upbeat and positive, or it says, hey, I was thinking of you today, that sort of thing. Send out cards is my favorite way to do that. If you're interested in learning more about that, you can definitely reach out to me later. But that's just one way to do that. Journaling is also a really good way to get the gunk out. And when I say journaling, I mean just writing for pages for at least 3 pages just right. Get all the gunk out. It can be short sentences, run off sentences, whatever you want it to be. It can have profanity and cuss words and whatever you need it to do. But it's really about getting that gunk out of your system. It's freeing up in your mind room for creativity and joy and hope for the future. So that's really helpful. If you're getting stuck, you might think about writing about a favorite memory. For me, one of my favorite memories was touring last year, and I have multiple memories of going to different places. Chicago was a really great time for me. I really loved Cleveland and Toledo, and I have lots of really great memories from that. Or even traveling. If you've gone on your favorite vacation, you might write about that. When we recall joyous, happy memories, our brains get happy. So that's something that might be helpful for you to try as well. That radical acceptance part is doing it not because it feels good, but because you just don't want to suffer. And if we don't accept that, we're just sitting there in suffering in silence. Viktor Frankl, who wrote A Man's Search for Meaning, all about his experience in the concentration camp, talked about how he recalled happy memories of him spending time with his wife and his son and believing he would be reunited with them at a certain point in the future. Unfortunately, that never did happen, but he believed it would. So it's really about doing those things that can help inspire hope and joy in your lives that have been lacking, or you just haven't been willing to go there, or maybe you've just been a little resentful of the changes that are going on and haven't allowed yourself to go there or to truly accept the situation. It will be temporary. In a few weeks, we will likely start to be getting back to normal. So keep that in mind. The next one is one of my favorite tips. It's called the success list. So before you go to bed, I want you to make a list of all of the things that you did today that you would consider a success. And that could be making your bed, getting out of your pajamas, combing your hair, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, doing the dishes, doing the laundry, checking your email, posting on Facebook, whatever that might be. But I want you to make that list every single day, because what that does is our brain then focuses on things we're doing right and not on things that we're missing and wishing that we had. It's focusing on positivity in the future, and it's having gratitude for these things that we have done. It also shows us when we think we haven't done anything all day, and then we see that list, well, actually we did do stuff. We knocked this thing out of the park, and we've been meaning to do it for a long time. We just hadn't gotten to it yet, and now we have. It helps you to feel better so you can conquer the day tomorrow. So that's really helpful. And also telling yourself a positive affirmation, and that could be a prayer if you're the praying sort. It could be meditating. It could be a positive statement about yourself or your future. This too shall pass. Tomorrow's going to be an awesome day. I know soon into the future, I will be able to see my wonderful friends and family again and give them a hug and have a really awesome kick-ass party to make up for all this time that we've missed, all of that good stuff. But really focusing on positive things. It will reframe and retrain your brain to focus on the positive and not the negative. Because frankly, there's a whole lot of negative out there. I also don't want you to have this toxic positivity where you're so overly positive that you're not being realistic either. So really finding that balance and being kind to yourself and just leaning into these changes and knowing that you are not alone. Many of us are struggling deeply with all of the changes that have been going on. I had planned to be headed to San Antonio and Austin, Texas for some book signings and poetry performances, and I had to cut that short Wasn't even able to go, and I had been looking forward to that for months. I hate cold weather, so I was so excited to go to Texas. So that will happen later on this year or next year. But I understand that loss and that sadness of things being canceled, or that, oh gosh, what do we do now? How are we going to put food on our tables? Or if we can't work, scrambling around and trying to figure some things out. Some ideas for that. I thought I would add that as well. Some ideas might be looking at putting together a Patreon account where people can subscribe essentially to your channel. And depending on what level they subscribe at, you would send them a poem, or whatever that might be. Definitely, you can reach out to me later if that's something that you're interested in. Also looking at, can you do any virtual events and have people pay in advance? That's something that many artists and musicians are doing to help bring in a little bit of money, a little bit of cash for that. So yeah, definitely brainstorm. I feel like we have a lot of resources that we forget that we do have. Sometimes you can barter for things. So definitely just think about that. So I really just kind of wanted to say hi today, and give you some ideas and some ways to survive this quarantine. Definitely, if you're interested in more tips and tools, check me out. WonderWomanRising.com is the Wonder Woman Rising page, and SarahMingus.com has kind of ties everything together with the poetry and with empowerment coaching and wellness coaching. And I will soon have a list of writing prompts for surviving the quarantine up on both websites. So definitely check that out. You can reach me at Sarah, no H, at WonderWomanRising.com, or Sarah, no H, at SarahMingus.com. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you so much. I'm also on YouTube, so if you feel so inclined, I would love it if you would subscribe to that, or do a little shout out if you've enjoyed this video. Also, you might send me a message. Let me know if it's been helpful or not. I hope you enjoy some downtime and to really reflect on what's important to you and kind of making some new habits and changes in your life. So without further ado, I hope you have a great evening. And until next time, thank you.